All right, so let's take a look again at the lychee tomato. And I figured I'd show you some of the volunteers that came up from my lychee tomato patch that's growing around the area. And I'll show you some of the lychee tomatoes I got growing. But one of the main reasons why I'm showing you the lychee tomatoes again is because, not just because they're volunteers, but because I wanted to capture the flower of the lychee tomato, and I don't believe I got any images of that last year. So as you can see, the flower very much looks like almost a tomato flower combined with a pepper flower. So it has the white outside like a pepper flower, but yet it has the center part that looks very much like a tomato. So it's definitely in the Solanaceae family, so you can tell that by the flower. But it's a beautiful flower, and they're quite big, and they look really healthy. And you can see, it's got this thorny, get you a good view on this, a very thorny plant, by the way. You can see the heavy thorns coming out of it. And, you could see there's other little ones popping up right there. There's some coming up there. I have some lychee tomatoes popping up here that were volunteers. We're going to let them grow out. As much as I don't want them to grow right in my walkway area, because you rub against these things and they're full of spines. It's like getting hit with a cactus every time you walk by them. I don't want to transplant them because they do go through a transplant shock, and it does take a little bit of a toll. But you can see I got 2 here. I got 1 there, a little baby there, so that's 2. 4. We got 3 growing right here. I transplanted these into here, by the way. That's 4. That's 7 there. You got another one there. That's 8. We got another. I think there's a couple more small ones down here. We got well over a dozen of these lychee tomatoes popping up. Here's a baby one down here. Where are you? Right there. It's a little baby one. Big one right there. You can see that's really growing nice. That one's got some really nice flowers. Now, these are coming up very big, these flowers. Bigger than last year. I mean, normally, they don't get this big. At least I haven't seen them before. So I guess it's acclimating to my environment, and now they're really starting to put out some really big flowers. So maybe we'll get some good-sized lychee tomatoes this year. They're not lychees. Again, I don't really understand why they call it a lychee tomato. I could understand the tomato part because I could see the flower resembles the tomato, and the leaf kind of grows like a tomato plant. The whole thing actually does grow like a tomato. The whole plant, if you look at the whole, from where it starts with the stem and it goes up, it grows exactly like a tomato. It grows really well among the tomatoes. And the flowers kind of look like the tomatoes. The fruits, I don't remember what they taste like. I don't think they exactly taste like tomatoes. But it resembles the tomato plant. So I understand the tomato part. I just don't understand the lychee part. So somewhere along the line, it resembles a lychee. I don't know. I've eaten lychees. I've done videos on lychees. They don't look anything like a lychee. But whatever. I'm not the botanist who named it. So, but yeah, I just figured I'd show you these flowers and give you a little close-up view of those flowers again. They're very beautiful flowers. I mean, look at the size of that flower. That's a big flower for this thing. I've never seen them get this big. So I'm imagining that they're probably getting acclimated, and they're going to start maybe making a little bit bigger fruits. That would be really awesome. Again, here's a look at the leaf. It grows very similar to the Naranjillo. I believe the Naranjillo is actually in the Solanaceae family, if I'm not mistaken. As bizarre as that may sound, but I think it is. And you can see the spines. Let me see if I can show you some of the spines. They roll down the center of the leaf just like the Naranjillo. Like if you look, see those spines? That's how they come out in there. And then it gets the spines on the stem, just like the Naranjillo. Not as nasty as the Naranjillo, though. The Naranjillo is a very nasty plant. I couldn't handle it. Just getting rid of the plant at the end of the year was you couldn't handle it. I had to get a rake in there and just break it up with a rake, the old plant. and just pull it out with the rake and throw it in the back. I mean, it was very nasty handling that plant. But yeah, we got a couple of these coming up, and we'll do a taste test again at the end of the year. We'll show you how we open up the lychee tomatoes and how to eat them, and we'll give it a taste test to see if the taste improved at all with these volunteers that are coming up. So hopefully they do come up. Now, I do know that the lychee tomato is actually banned for sale or even growing it in certain countries because it's so pervasive that it grows literally everywhere. It's an invasive species, but I don't know if it's an invasive species because it was introduced as an invasive species. It's an invasive species in a sense where it just literally will take over large patches of area and just kill out all the other plant life. It's banned in a lot of countries. I think in South America, Mexico, a lot of those countries, they ban this plant because of that reason. Now, up here, up north, it's not banned yet. But it's really starting to proliferate, even up here in Pennsylvania, which is a Zone 5A. I mean, you can see it reseeded itself relatively pretty easy. I mean, I didn't do anything with this. I grew it 1 year. That first year I did the lychee tomatoes, which was, I think, 2016. I did that first year with it. It grew. I ate some of the fruit. Some of them stayed on the vine. A bunch of the fruits fell. They came up last year, and now they're coming up again this year. And it's reseeding itself pretty easily. It's not very difficult at all. It's, like I said, a tomato plant. And if you look at the way tomatoes can proliferate, you see all my tomato plants that are coming up there. Those are the Everglade tomatoes, and those can become an invasive species in the sense where it's going to kill off the native wildlife, native plants in the area. It's good and it's bad. We don't want it to do that, but at the same time, it's good because it provides food for birds, animals, people. You can eat these tomatoes and survive from them. They got a lot of nutrition in them. So they're actually really good for you. But again, it's not a native species to Pennsylvania, and it's just a matter of time before these things start to end up spreading all over the place. And it's very possible, the way it reseeds itself. This plant will produce, because it produces so many tomatoes, there's really no avoiding the fact that it can actually proliferate and kill out native wildlife. So it'll grow in all kinds of conditions. So again, this might be very similar. The lychee tomato could be very similar in that sense, that it could self-proliferate like that and just keep reseeding itself. But we'll kind of let it do its own thing. I'll eat some more lychees off it this year. We'll taste test it, and we'll let some of them go to seed again on their own and drop and see if it reproduces again. I'm curious to that as well. I don't really know. But I know, like with certain weeds, like hogweed, it was introduced, and hogweed up here now grows absolutely out of control, and it's a very nasty plant. You really don't want to touch the plant. It's very photoallergenic and stuff like that, and it has toxic effects to it. But again, that was a plant that was from Central and South America, and it's literally proliferating all the way up here in Pennsylvania. It's just growing literally out of control. I'm yet to go into the woods. I'm going to try to find some hogweed, giant hogweed, and we're going to videotape that, and I'll do a video with it. But I'm just trying to make a point here, is that even though the plants are native to South America, it doesn't mean that they won't grow up here. And they are. They're starting to grow, and they can, But again, I don't think the lychee tomato is that bad of a plant, being it bears fruit. So that's just my opinion on it. So that's just a little bit about lychee tomato, my thoughts on it. Again, here's the flower. Show you that beautiful flower on it. Look at that beautiful flower. Just gorgeous flowers. And it will, I'll show you towards the end of the year. This thing will be absolutely covered in flowers. There'll be lychees all over the thing. It's going to proliferate. So we'll give you an update at the end of the year. I'll show you what it looks like. Maybe I'll include it in the garden tour, and then we'll just show you what's growing around the greenhouse. All right? Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.